Welcome, everybody, to Pinfalls and Passports. For those who don't already know, this is a podcast for people just like you, those who love the sport of professional wrestling, and for members of our WWE Travel Community Discord server. If you are not a member of the WWE Travel Community, come join one of the fastest growing pro wrestling communities online. You can find the Discord invite link here in the podcast bio. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Pinfalls and Passports and on TikTok at pinfalls_passports. And please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to keep up on all the things in professional wrestling. My name is Mira. This is Pinfalls and Passports, and I'm joined today
by your boy Dork Chop.
The Dork Chop is here with us. I will be discussing, or we will be recapping AEW, what's going on in AEW world, title changes, debuts, things of that nature. We have a lot to talk about. And speaking of our WWE Travel Community Discord server, earlier this week, we had surpassed 1,738 people. Those that may not know, people are saying that 2026 is the new 2016. And earlier this week, I seen 1738. We had 1738 members. And I was like in my head, 1738. Especially since Fetty Wap has been released. So I thought that was a little fun thing. I had to mention it here. We are now a little bit higher than that. We're at
1746.
Yeah, we're at 1746, but I had to get that in there because that was so funny.
We are growing in the last week or so.
No, we have been. So that's been funny. It's been fun around here.
We're up like 40 people since the beginning of the year, I think. Yeah, we're on the rebound because we had that big mass exodus after the announcement of the tickets on sale for WrestleMania. But nice rebound, and we're only going to gain more. If we hit 2,000, we got to do something crazy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if we hit 2,000 while it's still winter, I would jump out in the snow. I would do that for you guys.
Polar plunge.
Yeah, I would do something like that. But we have a lot to discuss in AEW world. So we had Collision last weekend, the January 17th edition. It was Collision Maximum Carnage. So some key highlights of that show. The Trios Championship has changed hands. Hangman Adam Page and Jet Speed are now the new Trios champions. They have defeated the Ops, and Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana was out there. Yes.
One question: was the decision to do this affected by the departure of Powerhouse Hobbs?
I believe so, but I feel like they wanted to get a shift in the power because, although Joe lost the AEW men's title, he still had the Trios title, and he was talking his stuff. So I feel like since Powerhouse Hobbs was leaving, I think that also contributed to it as well. So they took a change in direction there. So we have new Trios champions. Congrats to those guys. Jet Speed deserves it. Hangman, continue to press on. But Jet Speed really made me happy that they are now champions in AEW. But yeah, that was great. And then Andrade made his in-ring return. As he finally got cleared. Earlier or later in 2025, there was some legal creative delays with his return in AEW, but he is now back. He defeated, I'm going to say Angelico. I know it's not pronounced that way. I've been looking up this. Angelico. He defeated him when in his in-ring return. It was very hard-hitting. Andrade is just like a big guy. Like I remember seeing him like take action a part of like cruiserweight matches and bouts, and now he's just like this big yoke guy. And to see him do certain moves, I'm like, ooh, you're a big boy. But that was a hard-hitting match. He did pick up that dub. And then also we had Marina Shafir pick up the win over Zeta Steel on the undercard. And this is building her presence as the problem. Marina Shafir, to me, is one of those names in 2026 is going to be a breakout star. She's going to have those like moments of terror. She's a problem to be reckon with, honestly. And then you had Zeta Steel. She's an upcoming star who I believe will be taking over the women's division, in all honesty, in AEW soon. She gave me like a young NXT Sasha Banks
Mm-hmm.
type vibe. So I'm excited to see what she does, but Maria Shafir does pick up the win. It was super hard hitting as well. Like I seen she was twisted and doing the mother's milk and all this other stuff. I was like, okay. I'm like, this is how you make your debut, Zeta Steel. So sorry. But Marina picked up the win. And then Jack Perry defeated Anthony Bowens to earn a national title shot against AEW national champion Ricochet. I still believe this title should be like a trophy of some sort since they have the
Mm-hmm.
Continental belt, but Tony Tony Khan believes in having 20,000 belts, so here we are. But that was Collision Maximum Carnage last
Mm-hmm.
week. This past Dynamite. So Dynamite took place in Orlando. It was super packed action. You had big names, big feuds heating up and building. So on the card, you had Samoa Joe versus Mike Speedball Bailey. I believe that match opened. MJF opened the show, but I want to talk about Jet Speed and Samoa Joe first. That was a super hard hitting match. Joe and Speedball exchanged so many strikes. If I'm not sure if you've seen any clips of AEW this past week, Dork, but
I did see a couple.
there's like a clip of like Speed and just Joe just strike after strike, knee strikes, like strikes in the face. Like I'm like, okay, these guys just know what to
Mm-hmm.
do. And the one chop that Speedball received from Joe tensed me up. It was right out. It was outside the ring, and he gave him a chop. It was so nasty. It was like if Gunther did it, or no, when Gunther chopped CM Punk during SummerSlam. It was like a nasty chop
Mm.
like that. I was like, ugh. It just looked horrible. But Samoa Joe does defeat
Wait, what was that reaction
Mike
again?
Bailey. Which one? Ugh. It just didn't look comfortable. It didn't look comfortable to receive, and it just had so much animosity behind it. I'm like, I know that bruised his chest,
His whole chest.
his whole chest. But Samoa Joe does take up the win here. But going back to the opening segment, so MJF comes out, and basically it's just your piece of shit
Of
heel.
course.
He talks about he tells the announcer holding the mic. He's like, make sure you don't fucking shake the. He's basically just like, don't shake the mic. Like, make sure it's a steady mic and all that. I'm like, bro, like, why are you such an asshole? And and then Brody King comes out towards the end of that promo, and he wants a shot at the AEW title. Why does MJF run out the ring like a little bitch? Okay, why is he running out the ring? Since he's so big
Because
and
he's a
bad,
classic heel
okay?
champion.
Okay, I'm like, but he talks all this shit. He's not scared of Brody and all this stuff. So I think that's the direction MJF might be going in as a placeholder, since they're still building up towards Revolution that's supposed to be taking place in
Okay.
March. Next, we had Kenny
Ooh.
Omega versus Josh Alexander. So Kenny Omega is returning to singles competition 2026. Kenny Omega is in phenomenal shape. He looks good. He had his intestines taken out. He had like a surgery done like
Oh wow.
I want to say maybe a year and a half or so ago. But he looks phenomenal. I know before I've said like he's great, he's goaded, but he's moving slower, and he is still moving slower. But you can tell that he's gotten himself into the most amazing ring shape that he's been in a while. Um, in that match, it's sending a message to the locker room, especially MJF, because he wants his hand title.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be AEW Men's Champion once again. And I think we will see it. Don't know when, but it's on the
Yeah.
horizon. And then next we had the Death Riders versus the Don Callis family. This was in a chaotic street fight. John Moxley's Death Riders take the win, or like a slight edge over the Don Callis crew. Moxley pulls out the stump
What?
as well. Yeah, he pulls out the stump. And I was like, whenever he does it, it gives me a little like, oh, the
Mm-hmm.
brotherhood. But the Death Riders are working well
Mm-hmm.
together. There was even their infamous post match beatdown between the Don Callis family and all of the Death Rider crew. So that was interesting to see. I see that it's moved on from Death Riders versus Darby Allen to family versus family. That's what it's seeming like
Mm-hmm.
here. So we'll see how that goes.
Now, is the tension between the Death Riders themselves gone? Because I remember there being like kind of a who's actually going to lead this faction kind of tension going on.
So right now things seem to be
Okay.
steady and going with them because I'm also the same way. I'm like, I don't know if I can still trust this. But things seem to be okay. They seem like the whole faction might be baby facing it up, or at least that's what it
Mm.
appears to be. But no, it seems like they're working really well together. Um, in the ring post match, everything just looked good for them. At least that's what the outside appearance is
Right.
right now. Next, we had FTR versus Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. Those two guys, they are from the indie scene. GCW peeps. They're really young. They have their thing, young dumb, and broke. Like it's this whole thing that they're. And I remember seeing them for the first time in GCW. So to see their like rise to being signed full time with AEW is so great
Mm-hmm.
to see. Um, they showed out, but they came up short against FTR. I think it was a good match. It kept me entertained. It kept the crowd entertained as well. But FTR does what they do best. They're in their veteran era. They're in there. We're gonna have a great reign as tag champs right now. So we'll see there. And then before our main event, I did want to point out we had some stories build within the women's division. So we had like backstage promos between basically the Babes of Wrath and Chris Statlander and Thekla and Sky Blue and Julia Hart, and they want action. They're about that action.
Okay.
So this weekend on Collision, it will be Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart for the TBS Championship. And then it will also be Chris Statlander versus Thekla on this upcoming week
Okay.
for the AEW Women's Champion. And then Chris Statlander is in action on Collision versus Isla Dawn in
Oh.
a women's world title eliminator bout. So that's great to see. Isla Dawn has been, I know she's been, I guess, like testing for AEW to see if she wants to sign or not, or if they want to sign her. So hopefully this match is her breakout match to where she signed full time onto there, because I don't think she is as of yet. But no, that happened in the women's division, and then Sky Blue and Harley Cameron are just like, we're there for each other, but our eyes are on you, type of thing. But you have Julia Hart and Willow for the TBS, and Thekla and Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's
Mm.
Championship. I will say that Chris Statlander's promos are getting much better. I feel like she's gaining her confidence in this reign. But I wouldn't be upset if we did like a back and forth type of thing. Like Thekla wins this upcoming Wednesday, they hot potato it, or there's other contenders involved. I think that would be really like needed in here. But for the main event, that was Swerve Strickland versus
I did
Kevin
see
Knight.
clips of this
Those
match.
dudes,
Oh.
those dudes are the future. Well, Kevin Knight is the
Yeah.
future. Swerve Strickland is the right now, I guess you would say. But Kevin Knight is freaking amazing. I always enjoy seeing him wrestle. So it was great to see those two guys
Yeah.
go head to
The
head.
whole splash he does where he turns 180 degrees in the air. Like
Yes,
what the
yeah. So
hell? And then
um,
the
these
guardrail
dudes and
pile
these
driver.
oh, that one was nasty to watch
Yeah.
too. That was really nasty to watch. Um, but no, this is also building Kevin Knight. Like, yes, he's in a tag team, he's in a trios right now, but I feel like there is singles gold and singles belts waiting for him once this part of his career
Mm-hmm.
is over with, or at least he can focus on the big ones.
Yeah, he looked
But
legit here.
MJF MJF was watching from the suites. They had this one girl, like this girl being like a bottle, like
Mm-hmm.
a bottle girl, holding the champagne, and he's sipping his little champagne, watching the match go on. And and Swerve is like, come on down, come on down, come on down. Like, what you up there for? Like, you can watch that. He's like, mm-mm. But
Nah, fam, we good.
MJF, your typical, yeah, like MJF, he's always decked out in his Burberry and his suits and stuff. So he's very much just like your piece of shit
Yeah.
heel, like we say. But he's entertaining. But I believe MJF is just like looking out for all of his potential title people that's coming after his belt. So you got Kenny Omega, you got Swerve Strickland, you got Hangman somewhere in there, you got Samoa Joe. So he has to keep his head on the swivel at all
Mm-hmm.
costs. And we're building towards future collision matches, dynamite matches, pay per views. Right now, we're waiting for Revolution, which we have about 8 more weeks, or no, probably 6 more at this point, up
When
until
is
that
it?
show there. But it's March. I know it's in LA, but I want to say March 20 something, but I could be wrong.
March 15th.
Okay, close enough. So they're going to be in Los Angeles. So I'm excited for that pay per view. Typically that like sets off any returns and such, and if there's anyone that's gonna, there might be some title changes, but they're building on their stories for their upcoming pay per views. Because I think after that it's
Yes.
Dynasty, which you'll be attending. So that'll be really cool
Mm-hmm.
from there. And then for tonight's Collision, which will be airing January 24th, this is a loaded card, but the matches were taped ahead of time due to weather related scheduling changes. So they're on the east, actually all over the map, but there's going to be a winter storm. So the taping was supposed to happen in Arlington, Virginia, but since Texas is also going to be hit with these winter storms as well, they actually canceled like that show there, and they're going to be airing the taped footage from their Orlando show uh, pretty much then. So the featured matches are supposed to be Will Nightingale versus Julia Hart for the TBS, Claudio Castagnoli versus Roger Strong for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship. I'm very excited about this match. Roderick, he earned his challenger spot in CMLL, and it'll be brought on to AEW TV. I feel like this is also going to help get more eyes on
Mm-hmm.
CMLL. Me personally, I've watched a few of their shows, but I want to get more consistent. But as we know, there's so much fucking
Oh my
wrestling.
God.
And I enjoy like watching them. Like we like they talked about in the chat earlier. Like I watch like 9 to 10 hours of wrestling each
Right.
week.
There's just so
And it's
much.
so much to keep up on. There's so much to keep up on. There's like pick your poison. Like you can, try out certain things. But I feel like this is going to help CMLL get some eyes on their product as well. You also have Hangman Adam Page versus Shibata. That's going to be a banger, I feel like. You're going to have Mark Davis and Jack Doyle versus Jordan Oliver and Alec Price. So, following their debut on Dynamite this past week, um, with Oliver and Price, they're going against Davis and Doyle. And Davis and Doyle are the number one contenders for the men tag team title. So this should be a good bout. But this could also be a squash match because I think they want to build up and Mark to be like this strong tag team. So I think the newcomers will take the L again tonight, but we'll see. We'll
All
see for
right.
sure. Um, and then we have Takesa and
How do you say
Fletcher
that? Pertosh.
versus it's like it's like proto I
Proto
see
shitta.
shitta. That's what I want to say. So I'm like proto. I don't think I would have kept that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you got Shitta and Fletcher versus Billy and Austin Gunn. I
Wait,
think
Billy
Juice
Gunn?
Robinson may be injured. Yes, Billy Gunn. I think it's also because they had the tape in Orlando and they lived down there, so Billy was probably already there or he's so
Mm-hmm.
close because we were talking about it in the server and we were like, why isn't this like Austin Ace or anyone else? But Juice to be injured, and Austin wasn't nearby to come before the storm
All right.
probably. So yeah, Billy and Austin Gunn versus Proto Shitta. Yep, yep. Yep. But no, Tasha and Fletcher, they have the best bromance, and I really do enjoy them a lot. They love each other. There's actually this picture I have, and I said, this is my heated rivalry. This is what I it was a picture of them hugging in the ring, and I said, this is my heated rivalry. And tag Alley, I loved it. But that's another match tonight, and then you have Andrade El Iglo versus Magnus, and then you have Chris Statlander versus Isla Dawn for or in a women's world title eliminator bout. I think it's going to be some grabs tonight. I think it's going to be a really good show. I know the weather might affect some of it,
Hmm.
so we'll see. But I feel like AEW has been on a roll. I know they just lost Powerhouse Hobbs, but they do have the Rascals coming to debut really soon as well. So they
The
have a
Rascals
lot of new
sans Trey
talent.
Miguel.
Yes, Trey Miguel has re-signed with TNA actually with all that commotion
Right.
because
Because Warner Brothers
it was
Discovery
it was
said, nah.
above. Yeah, I guess it was above Tony's head. And Trey Miguel cannot come with the Rascals, but I'm excited. I like AEW. Like they're when the Rascals came on screen and they basically hot boxed the room in that promo there. Yeah, it was like they hot boxed their like locker room
Oh.
area, and they came. I was like, hey, like we're here for your best tags, your best trio. Like we're here. This is who we are, and we're here to kick ass. And it's good to see like
Yeah.
Wesley or Desmond Scott, I believe, back on TV. It sucked when he was released from
Yeah.
NXT and he went to TNA. I'm not a TNA follower, so I can't really discuss to that point. But he's so
I
amazing
used
in
to
the
love him
ring.
in NXT when he was the North American champion. He did those
Hmm.
open challenges, and yeah,
Yes.
he's great in the ring, and I would be excited to see him in AEW as well. I think he could thrive there.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he will. He'll have a lot of opportunity, whether together, whether it's solo wise. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for that. But AEW does have a lot going on. I'm excited for this card tonight. Um, was there anything? I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I missed for the week?
I
Mm,
can't.
I don't
Yeah.
believe so for AEW. I mean, I think that does it for me this week with AEW. So what I will say,
Uh-oh.
listen, listen, listen. Good night, or actually, you can edit this part out. Goodbye and good night and bang, a courtesy of Mr. Kenny Omega. But no, I'm very excited. I'm so glad Kenny Omega is back in the main title scene, y'all. Um,
Oh yeah.
but no, I think it'll be a good a good a good lead up to Revolution, and then you have to get on your AEW Zoom real quick because you'll be going to see Dynamite. So I'm curious to see like your take of
Yeah.
it,
I,
honestly.
I'm like a casual AEW watcher, so like every now and then I catch
Right.
it. I mean, I was catching it more when I had an active HBO Max subscription, but I'm not paying YouTube TV $83 a month, and I'm
Nah,
not paying for
nah,
cable.
nah.
So yeah, I was pay- I had a I I I did the yearly subscription for 2025. I decided not to renew it. I kind of regret that because I did enjoy watching AEW Dynamite, and I didn't watch Collision that much, but I got to get on that.
Collisions, I feel like is hard. I feel like Collision can be hard to get into because it's either people you're not
Mm-hmm.
super familiar with all the time, but give it a chance. I think you might like it. Certain cards are better than others with Collision, but Dynamite to me is always solid and consistent
Yeah.
in my opinion. But no, that does it for me
All right.
today. We have been Pinfalls and Passports, and we'll be back next week. We have a lot to discuss in all worlds of wrestling,
Yes.
AEW,
Yes.
WWE. Royal Rumble week is next week.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we will
Oh
catch y'all
yeah.
then.
And don't forget next week, the server member of the month.
Oh, yeah, we will be announcing our server member of the month of January. It's a new category that we wanted to implement. We wanted to bring attention to our server members, those that attend events, things, whatever you do. If we see something as like a highlight, we want to make sure that you are seen
Yes,
and noticed.
exactly. I can't wait for that segment, and then also for Danny to pull the balls for the Royal Rumble pool, and then for the Royal Rumble pre-stravaganza.
So leading into like Rumble week, it excites me so much. So I'm very excited for our episodes next week.
Yes, and then of course we will be back with an AEW recap as well.
Yes, we will be back with that. And anything else that we do throughout the week, any travel tips, if we see anything new, any events go on sale, we will let y'all know first. But
and then also, speaking of travel tips, one more little snippet. We will be doing a Vancouver episode coming up soon. In February.
Yes. Yeah, so we will be having that. So we'll be discussing travel points, places to go, bites to eat, like quick stops, things like that. So we'll be bringing that to y'all.
All right, yeah.
And we have been Pinfalls and Passports. I am Mira.
Dork Chop.
He is Dork Chop, and we will see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Bye.